What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Shields Up on Void Launch. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Void Launch is the map where we have to shoot down Amon's shuttles. There are 7 waves of shuttles, which increase in size, number of prongs, and escorts. We cannot let more than 4 shuttles escape, otherwise we lose the game. Sometimes your minerals get covered and you must destroy them or wait to resume mining. Vision is limited. Damage is spread out to all units, including your own.
So we have Eviling and Zero in the call with us today. How are you guys?
Doing fine.
Okay,
Waking
so
up.
I'm just doing this and then heading right to bed. Zero, how do we rank commanders this week?
So the main issue here will be the combination of Shortsighted and Diffusion, because you're pretty much going to be taking Diffusion at all times, because you're going to be really close to the enemies, so commanders that either can kill the waves in one shot to bypass Diffusion, or from long range, whether that's from like Earth Splitters or like abilities, will be ranked higher here. The mineral shields are less important.
Okay, if you say so. How about you, Eviling?
It's mainly a very annoying set of mutators. Diffusion and Shortsighted is going to make combat hard. Diffusion and Mineral Shields is going to make mining a little, so it's going to cut into your economy. If you can figure out ways to deal with it, and most commanders have a method to deal with it in some janky way or not. So this week, most commanders are going to be doing okay. It's just the player themselves are going to be annoyed when the mineral shields come up and the short-sighted and diffusion when they have to take down the shuttles.
I agree, 100% agree. There are mutators that are painful and straight up difficult. This one is just painful, not super, just painful. This one is miserable. I agree with that 100%. Okay, let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
Abathur, I have him from A to B. His units are pretty tanky, so they can kind of weather through diffusion, but you can't like sit in it. If you have your 6 ultimate evolutions and you just have them taking on attack waves, trying to just tank through it, they're going to go down eventually. Especially on the much larger attack waves that come up after the 3 shuttle spawn. In this case, I would actually recommend Prestige 1, where you can accumulate that biomass. If you lose stuff, you don't lose the biomass, and then a good unit to actually use would be his mutas. Once they get full biomass, they're pretty tanky, and the life leech that they get allows them to box pretty good despite the diffusion and the short-sighted. They got a close, so the nice thing about Abathur, in terms of short-sightedness, is biomass drops. They actually provide vision. So I mean, if it
That's
gets
pretty
littered
awesome.
all over the place, yeah, it's kind of a nice little perk. Not something you should rely on, but it's there.
Okay, how about you, Zero?
Yeah, I have an 8 tier also. I believe if you deactivate the toxicness, you can also just use them for vision, which actually makes the Ravagers pretty viable here, because you can just bile them from range with the vision you get from deactivated toxicness. If you want to, P2 Swarm Hosts will probably just have enough beef to muscle through this mutation also, just diffusion.
That's what I was
alone is
thinking. That sounds a
difficult.
lot simpler than having to
You
use
have a lot of
Ravagers.
options here. So yeah, I think 8 tier makes sense for him.
I was
The
actually...
hard part about
Yeah, go ahead.
The hard part about putting toxicness out as vision indicators, they're going to get hit by diffusion themselves, so they're
Yes.
going to be going down. You have to be constantly replacing them. So I don't know if
Absolutely.
that's a
And then you
viable
just have
tactic.
biomass there that gives you vision after the toxicness
Yeah.
are destroyed from the biles.
Yeah, but you kind of want to pick that up. So
Yeah, I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
I get what you're trying to say. Yeah.
I was actually also thinking that you can go first Prestige and just go Devourers. And Devourers will just kind of out-heal whatever it is, the damage that they receive from anything. It works.
Yeah, but then you can't
That's
really
the-
fight ground.
You can go Toxicness and Swarm Hosts for the ground stuff. You can still do that. It's not like you're gonna spend every single bit of your money and energy making Devourers. You only need like 5 of them to do everything in the air. Maybe 7 would be better.
They're super
And the rest will
tanky.
be the rest will be Swarm Hosts.
Hands.
Yeah, and Roaches if you want.
Yeah, like I said, he has a lot of options.
He has a
here,
lot
and
of
they're all
options.
Pretty solid.
We can agree on that
So
one.
I think
Okay,
makes sense.
so everyone's okay with A. Let's put Abathur in A. Prestige wise, You can go first, you can go second.
Yeah.
Just don't go third
Same.
one. So at first or second, don't go third one. Let's move on. Alarak, where do we have him?
Yeah, Psyorbs destroy everything. You stay at range, so you're not diffused. Yeah, for the shuttles, you may probably have to get close to like mind blast them, but it shouldn't be an issue, especially because for most of the shuttle waves, the enemies are relatively low HP. And like the one enemy that's really high HP on the shuttle waves is a tuna hybrid. So yeah, those guys are not a threat. So yeah, I have him in S tier personally. He just destroys everything from range pretty much.
Tuna hybrid. Never heard of it.
Yeah, the tuna fish, the flying tuna fish hybrid.
Little extra AO Master.
I don't get it. Anyway,
Yeah,
We've had
AO
this
Master
discussion
always called
before.
whatever.
it the tuna fish
So,
hybrid.
letter
Yes.
S tier.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you,
Yep.
Eveling?
I have Alarak from S to A. Pretty much the same thing. Psionic orbs. You're not really affected by short-sighted. If you know which way you're getting attacked, you just fling a bunch of psi orbs in that direction, and things will start dying. In terms of getting vision, you got supplicants. Send them forward, or actually you can do supplicants. You can do slayers. Slayers got that phasing armor so that they can take a few hits, a little more tanky. Have them blink forward where you need vision and mind blast away. I
Alright.
would actually recommend P2 for this. It's you don't have to be traveling back and forth too much. You can just focus all your power into one area. Alarak will be able to just outright kill things. And the nice thing about diffusion is if you can do more damage, if you can like one hit kill, diffusion doesn't take effect. So with P2, you get your army powered, you get a significant army, you have Empower Me Go, and no diffusion problem, and everything's wiped out. The best form of CC is death.
Okay. So both of you say S. Let's put Alarak in S. Prestige-wise, you said the second one?
2 or
I
3.
recommend
I
second.
think both are good here.
Okay. If you say so. Let's move on. Arcturus, where do we have him?
Arcturus, his ESOs, pretty much you just make a bunch of them. And the nice thing is you can have an ESO just focus in on one or two ESOs focusing on killing off the mineral shield, so that way you still got your mineral income going.
It's a waste.
And then you just build them up.
It's a waste.
It's a waste, but if you think so, I think it's not that much of an issue because you still want a lot of ESOs in order to, if you're using P1, so you can be spamming your contaminated strikes and just spam that away from whatever distance you want. And essentially things are gonna start dying. If it's an attack wave, it's gonna get frozen in place. It's pretty solid, and the ESOs themselves, when you target them, even if it's a air target, like you're trying to get vision of the shuttles, you just target where the shuttles are, and then it starts where the bombardments happen, starts giving you vision. So you still can run Sky Furies and just use the ESOs to target the shuttles as they get near the gates, and yeah, you got your vision, so you don't have to go straight up to Este.
Alright, how about you, Zero?
I also have him in S tier. The one thing you may have to like slightly watch out about is the first wave. Like if it's like Zerglings, they can diffuse a lot of damage into your bunkers, so you're probably gonna need a bit more than you normally would. But other than that, it's really simple. You just kill all the waves with ESO, and then you Sky Fury the objectives.
Okay, so both of you say S.
Mhm.
Let's put him in S. Prestige-wise, you want third one?
One.
First one?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, let's move on. Artanis, where do we have him?
Artanis. So you're not gonna be carried on Bound Fanatics as much as you normally are because the fusion, all that damage is just most likely gonna get diffused onto them. So yeah, your
Not-
top bar is crippled. It's not bad. It's just slightly crippled. His units are
No,
pretty long range. That's their main strength.
I would
Go on.
say more slightly inconvenienced than crippled because yes, they do absorb some damage, but they're very tanky.
It's like 1000 damage, and later waves. I guess early waves are still easy. It's just the later waves.
Yeah. Anyway, please continue.
Yeah, so the strength of his units normally is their long range, which he won't really be able to use here. So yeah, he's gonna have to get real close to the enemy to actually engage them. Which dragoons are not actually terrible against diffusion, just because they have that passive regens. So the chip they'll slightly heal off. It's still not ideal because dragoons already have low DPS, and that's just gonna get halved here. So yeah, he's gonna have some serious damage problems. So I have him in like C or B tier.
You're B tier. How about you, Eveling?
I have Artanis from A to B. I think when it comes down to trying to get damage off, make use of that shield overcharge. You warp in a bunch of dragoons and maybe two zealots. Shield overcharge that, send in the zealots to get your vision, and then let the dragoons wail away at the stuff. And by the time the shield overcharge damage compensation gets taken off of the zealots, the shuttles will be dead. So I think at that point you're gonna be okay. The main thing is just be wise about how you use your Spirit of Adun energy. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Both of you are okay with
E3,
B.
yeah.
Both of you are okay with B, so let's put in B. Okay, this seems fine. Prestige wise, you still want the third one?
I'd say so.
Yeah, the shield overcharge seems pretty essential when you want to engage your Artanis and not lose everything in every fight. So yeah, that sounds fair. Let's move on. Dehaka, where do we have him?
Dehaka, pretty much, I'm recommending P2 for this. A to B, he using his creeper host, you're gonna be able to just stand off and just send waves of creeper hosts to bombard the shuttles and enemies. P2 because yeah, you don't farming biomass with diffusion and short-sighted is super annoying. So don't deal with that noise and just get out your pack leaders. They're very tanky. They'll be able to power through diffusion, no problem. Yeah, have them from A to B.
A to B. Okay, how about you, Zero?
I personally have him in A tier. Pack leaders just have enough power to be able to handle the waves, even with diffusion close range. And for your units, you just have creeper hosts, which have enough help the individual creepers that they don't really care about diffusion that much. They'll still like destroy shuttles and a decent portion of the wave. So you just keep sending creepers everywhere, and you deploy pack leaders on the waves.
Okay, both of you are okay with A tier? Let's put Dehaka in A tier. I personally had him in S tier. I don't see any
I
reason
said
why
S tier. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not unanimous, so
Yeah. You said I'm okay with A tier though.
yeah.
But
Yeah, both
sure.
of you are okay with A tier. Evil Link's at A to B, so it's not S. Anyway,
I'm okay with going to S. I mean, I see it, but it's just that I guess the early part would be a little funky, I think, for Dehaka until it gets the pack leaders up.
I guess that's true. Early game is a little funky. I'm trying to think of enemy comps that would give him trouble. Vikings? No, not even. Vultures probably would give him a lot of trouble.
Vultures are like the only issue, but then you should be able to stall them for long enough to get enough wood.
Zerglings, you can just step on them.
Yeah, links you just leap on them. Adepts don't have enough damage to do anything, and there's only
You
4 of
just
them.
devour them. I think he's fine against most
Yeah,
things.
roaches you just
Aside
heal off of
from
them.
yeah, the only thing that'll really annoy him is vultures. Maybe Helions, but not that much. Vultures definitely would give him a lot of trouble. But then again, that's everything. But if you're pretty good at farming essence in the early game, maybe you can get that third ability. I don't know. So what do we keep him in A tier or do we push him up to S tier?
I'm still leaning S tier personally.
Yeah, but
I'm okay with S.
if it's not unanimous, it's not.
I'm
S.
okay with I'm okay with bumping him up to S.
Okay. Let's do that then.
Yeah,
Because
it's
like
it's an easy week. It's a week.
once gloving is up, like I don't see any point where Dehaka will be in trouble of any sort. And
Yeah, the only trouble would be is if he forgets to get Mervar's Den and Docrin's Den after that. Only Glevig
and the
that would be a
anti-air
problem.
and the anti-air for the creeper hosts. Essential upgrade. You need that for the shuttles
Right.
because the creepers have 180 health. They will not care about diffusion one bit. Anyway, let's move on. Phoenix, where do we have him?
Phoenix, so yeah, Kaldal is just gonna have a terrible time here. All that damage is just gonna get diffused right onto him. So yeah, that's his main unit.
I can attest.
Crippled very hard.
I can attest.
As for his other champions, they're okay. They have a large HP pool, but it won't be very pleasant still. You'll have to just if you're going for a champion route, you're gonna just have to consistently keep sending champions into it. That's gonna take up a lot of APM for not very much results. I haven't really tested like the P1 here, so that might be better, but I still doubt it. Like you're gonna have to get close to the enemy with your army that doesn't have a really large HP pool or regen. So
How about the
yeah, I
shades with the
haven't-
derps?
Shades from the depths.
Don't they give vision?
I'm not sure. Adepts
Limited
aren't
vision.
really good themselves. Like adepts only really work against like light Zerg, from my experiences at least.
Yeah, but like maybe you can pair something with a slightly longer range, like I don't know, carriers
Maybe.
or Colossus or
But yeah,
Mortals.
I haven't like B or C tier.
B or C
still.
tier.
I don't think
That's fair though. That sounds fair. How about you, Eviling?
Yeah, I had Phoenix from B to C, but just a note, last time this mutation came around, with Phoenix, I played through. I remember distinctly playing through all three of his prestiges, just trying to see which one performs the best on this one. I
And?
found P3 work really well.
Because he gets a lot of refunds, so like
So-
he just keeps sending guys to die. Is that how it
He
works?
gets a lot of refund. You're able to roll financially roll it, and then the thing is short-sighted. The P3 already suffers from some degree of short-sightedness already, so it kind of just
Leans into it.
the downside of P3 doesn't really matter for this mutation, so you just keep on macroing through things. The one thing that I found very helpful was when you do take care of the mineral shields, put a conservator in your mineral line. That helps out a lot.
I guess, but with diffusion and with Frost having shields, I think you don't even need it because the shields will just regen, even if you have regular
When
cannons.
it gets to the later sections where almost all the mineral patches get a mineral shield over them, it can kill off a few probes. So yeah, I found once you add a conservator, that goes away.
Okay then. So letter B to C.
B to C. We'll go with B. I think B. It was once I went through it, P3 was like really straightforward. 2 was like not happening. 1 was okay, but you're relying on the Dragoon suit in order to because when
Do
a
the most of the work.
Dragoon it does most of the work, and the thing is that is not really affected by short sight because all you have to do is just fire in the direction, similar to throwing out psi orbs for Alarak.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How about you, Zero?
B.
Like I said, I haven't really tried it P3, so I can't comment much. But yeah, I think B is still fine.
All right then. We just B says, I guess he's fine here.
I don't think he's that much worse than Artanis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely not that much more.
Sure. Yeah. He doesn't have shield overcharge, but he does have very cheap champions and refunds. So yeah, I think that kind of evens it out. So let's put Phoenix in B tier. Prestige wise, you said third prestige.
Sure.
I might
recommend three.
we might make that our official recommendation since I've seen people try the first and second prestige. It's painful. So maybe third prestige is less painful. We'll see. Han and Horner, where do we have them?
Han and Horner, I have them from A to B. Pretty much, I'm recommending P1 because mag mines, they provide vision, they come down, and the very nice thing is for mineral shields, one mag mine will blow it up and it won't trigger the diffusion.
That's
so.
really cool. That is really cool. By the way, Tutu recommends Helions for Han and Horner, just in case you guys are wondering. Letter?
I have them from A to B.
A to B. How about you, Zero?
I have them B tier. Their units are kind of fragile, so you're gonna have to watch out with them. The magmines, like Evelyn said, are good, but they're not infinite, so you're gonna have to, I guess, conserve them a bit. Like, you don't want to waste all of them on a single wave. So yeah, which I think they're B tier.
Okay, B tier it is.
And then,
yeah.
and then remember again, if you just outright kill the unit, one shot killed, then it's not even going to diffuse into you. So sovereign battle cruisers are pretty damn good for that, and then they're super tanky, so they can either weather through it even if the diffusion does come out.
All right, that sounds pretty good. Let's put Han and Horner in B tier. Wait, we said B tier, right? Not A tier?
B tier, yeah.
B tier, okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
That's fine.
Karax, where do we have him?
Karax, so yeah, top bar's good. Solar Lance has decently long range. You only need a vision in front of the wave to solar lance the whole wave, so the damage won't be getting diffused at all, and the solar just pretty much kills all the wave except the big hybrid. The big hybrid themselves aren't that scary. Your cannons should be able to just handle that. You'll also have the Purifier Beam, which, like Solar Lance, won't be getting diffused because you just need to drop it and then run it across the wave, and that just kills everything from orbit. So then you have all your money to spend on monoliths and cannons and batteries to just deal with the shuttles, which isn't very difficult. So I have them in A tier.
What do you use to get vision?
Like a mirage rope, literally whatever.
All
Just
right.
need it for a split second.
That sounds fair. A tier, you said?
Yeah.
How about you, Eveling?
I have Karax from S to A. I'm actually leaning more toward S. I mean, Space Laser is good. That pretty much one orbital strike will outright kill a mineral shield. So
No diffusion.
using P3, you can be able to. Huh?
No diffusion.
What about diffusion?
No, I said no diffusion.
So that's B.
Okay, so
What about no diffusion?
It one-shots it, so it bypasses diffusion.
I meant to say, with orbital strike, there's no diffusion on the mineral shields. You literally don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and I'm agreeing.
Yeah, that's the beautiful.
Oh my goodness, stop!
Okay, that's the beautiful part.
Okay.
Yes.
Zero.
Yes.
Do you agree with S tier?
And
Yeah, sure, he's good.
All right, let's put Karax in S tier. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so annoying on the replay. Kerrigan, where do we have him?
Kerrigan, Omega Worms are really good for just stalling the enemy, getting vision. Well, it's not the greatest vision. You just start spamming them all over the place, and Kerrigan comes out with P3 kinetic blast. You put the Omega Worm under where you think the enemy is, and then just kinetic blast them. Should be good.
Should be good. Letter
A to B.
A to B. How about you, Zero?
A to
I have her A tier personally. You can't rely for Kerrigan for too long because of Diffusion. She's not great against it, and she just won't have the DPS, but she's already a relatively short ranged hero, and that's just gonna cripple her even further. So you're gonna go for units a bit sooner than normally would, which in this case I'd probably just advise Mutalisk. You can still engage
That sounds
attack waves
painful.
relatively well. You just have to like plop a worm, and then when they get close, attack the worm, so you're out of diffusion range. Although you should be able to stay in diffusion for a while still, because they're not that bad. So yeah, I think just Kerrigan P3 for the early game, because the what's it called? Her Q ability will most likely just one shot all the
Kinetic
enemies
blast?
for a while. Yeah, so diffusion will be bypassed that way. Then you
Sounds
just
good.
slowly transition into Mutalisks. I think A tier makes sense.
Mutalisk sounds absolutely painful. Not gonna lie, but if you say so, let's put Kerrigan A tier. Prestige-wise, you want the third one, so you can have the kinetic blast for the ships. Let's move on. Nova, where do we have him?
Nova. So yeah, you'll have the airstrike for the waves that will kill pretty much everything except hybrid. So those shouldn't be that big of an issue. Now for the actual shuttles, they'll probably be slightly bigger of a problem because they're flying and you kind of have to get close to them anyway, so that'll limit your DPS. But you'll have ravens, which will probably help a lot because once the shuttles get real close to the exit, they group up a lot. Then so you can just mass seeker missile them with the ravens, and that'll splash on all of them.
Yes.
And that shouldn't get diffused because you'll just fly away with the ravens in time, so that'll probably kill it. Yeah, you'll probably have to be good with your airstrikes here, especially because getting vision for the actual airstrikes will be harder. But you'll have to get a lot closer to the enemies than usual. But still, I think if you can manage that, I think she's like A tier.
Okay, how about Eviling?
I have Nova from A to B. I recommend P3. Send Nova out. She can clear the encampments up to the spawn points for the attack waves, and then from that point on, as long as you can maintain a base force around there, you should be able to take care of things almost somewhat semi-normal-ish. Like in terms of trying to use your airstrikes, the thing is you just need point of where the airstrike starts in order to cast it. So you can kind of cast it like kind of like psi orbs for the ascendants. Use something to be that anchor point. So either Nova itself or a railgun turret from a Raven, send that
That
down,
works.
and then when you know where the enemy is attacking from, and you should know because if you have Nova's visor, it shows up as little dots on
Yeah.
your screen, even
radar.
even if so A to B.
A to B. Okay, so both of you are okay with A? So is it A or B?
I think A tier. Like
A.
she's closer to
Yeah.
Kerrigan than Artanis Phoenix.
Okay, sounds
Mhm.
fair to me. Nova goes to A tier. All right, Raven sound like your do it all unit here because their turrets provide vision and something to absorb the diffusion shield overcharge, the diffusion, and the seeker missiles are pretty good at splashing down the shuttles as they go away, and even attack waves. Plus, you have the nuke, you have the airstrike, pretty good. Okay, let's move on. Raynor, where do we have him?
Raynor. Okay, so this is gonna be a little hot take for me. If non P1, I think he's S to A. So the reasoning why is pretty much he has ways of dealing with all the mutators. So mineral shields, pretty much, he'll just you plop a medic around and yeah, or drop a medic when you need to, and that's gonna heal up any damage that the SCVs take from it, pretty substantially. With mineral shields, if he has mules, he's able to drop. It's like even if most of your minerals are shielded, you just drop mules onto the ones that are not shielded, and you're still be raking in some significant income from that. Later on, once he has enough orbitals, his scans will give you normal vision. So
True.
yeah, just make sure to build up your orbital count early on. There's nothing in this mutation that is putting a time pressure on Raynor, which is where Raynor usually suffers because he needs time to macro up. But there is no significant time pressure here, so stay.
Okay. How about you, Zero?
I don't think he's quite S tier. At least if you're carrying, like if you're like going for your ally, like you're both gonna contribute. I think he's S tier for that. But for actual carrying, I think he's only A tier. Like even said, being able to bypass like pretty much the hardest part of this mutation is really helpful. And his units have, by units I mean the Vikings and Banshees, they're decently long range, enough to at least bypass diffusion. BCs should also be quite solid. Their Yamato will most likely one-shot most enemies, so bypasses diffusion. Their regular range also just, I think, is 7, which is longer than diffusion already. So if you use it well, even BCs will work here. So yeah, he's definitely got the tools. And yeah, no time pressure like Eveling said, so A tier makes sense for him, I'd say.
Okay, so both of you are okay with A. Let's put Raynor in A tier. Oh, that's a pretty nice. That's a pleasant surprise for Raynor. Stet boy, where do we have him?
Alright, yeah, Igor. Yeah, Igor's good. You don't need vision for it. It's kind of like just Psyorb, except it does 100 DPS, instead of like 20-ish with like max path ascended. So yeah, and you get it at like 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So yeah, Stetmann's good. His units also just have a bunch of healing. Deploying satellites will be slightly awkward, although it's not a big issue. You'll just have to walk to the edge of the actual stat zone to deploy it. But yeah, the links will just heal through the attack wave. Diffusion damage for the shuttles. You can get like corruptors and then just dive the shuttles. You'll heal through all the diffusion. So yeah, S tier.
Okay, how about you, Eveling?
Yeah, pretty much P2 Stetmann. I mean, there is nothing that's
boy.
preventing you from doing a hero solo on this. So yeah, it's
That boy
yeah,
exists.
S
Then you
tier.
win.
Yeah.
S tier.
Or
All right.
Super Gary.
Exists. Then you win. Yeah, pretty much. That sounds pretty much correct. Let's move on. Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov. So Stukov is in a interesting place. He's the only commanders that can enhance your vision. So using your Brood Queens, you start slapping Ocular Symbiote onto your units, and then so their vision goes from 1 due to Shortsighted to 3 because of what Ocular Symbiote allows them to do. So it is a way to kind of mitigate the annoyance factor from it, and yeah, it can be pretty significant. And then Stukov himself using P3, you just send hordes and hordes of bodies. There's no time pressure, kind of like similar to the Raynor argument. I have Stukov from S to A.
S to A. How about you, Zero?
I have him in A tier personally. Like, he just have enough bodies, kind of like an Abathur, to just brute force through this mutation. Now, what Eveling said about Ocular Symbiote is correct. It also just doesn't really give you enough vision to outrange a diffusion, so you're still going to be getting diffused and slowed down pretty much. So he kind of just seems like a slightly weaker P2 Abathur, which is why I don't think he's S tier, but he's still really good. So A tier.
I tried soloing with Stukov here. Like the main problem I ran into is the early game and just getting enough stuff on the ground to deal enough damage to the shuttles before it gets away. Because when you start getting units under the shuttle, the damage they're trying to do just diffuse back to them, which not only means that your units will sometimes die before they deal their damage, it also means that the shuttle isn't getting the full damage, especially early game, and that makes the late game harder. But that's just soloing. If you have an ally, it's probably gonna be a lot easier. So if Eveling, are you gonna try to make another case for S tier?
No, I don't have love for Stukov, so yeah, I'm not gonna fight for him.
All right, not unanimous, therefore not S tier. Stukov down to A tier. Swann, where do we have him?
Alright, Swann, so the waves will most likely just get dealt with via your top bar, which one-shots everything but the big hybrids, so yeah, that won't really be a problem. The top bar aligns really well with the timings on this mission, so I think you can pretty much top bar every but the first wave. I might be wrong, but I think that's how it is. And as for the rest, you just have your turrets, which they have decent enough health and healing that they shouldn't be getting instantly vaporized by diffusion. Even the like shuttles fly on top of them, you should just have enough turrets to handle that. One issue you may just run into is like the enemies being slightly out of range, like the shuttle escorts. So you may need to have like either like some factories, raves, to just like give vision of them. But other than that, I think it's decently easy. So I have him A tier.
A tier. How about you, Eveling?
Yeah, pretty much all the same points. I would recommend Prestige number 2. That allows you for maximum use of your laser drill top bars. When you do with the enhancements to your turrets through the engineering bay that you get from P2, that should make, as Zero said, your turrets shouldn't get instantly obliterated. When you do build them in the path of the shuttles. Build them to the side.
Yeah, build their turrets to the side,
It's
not
A to B.
directly under the shuttles, otherwise they'll get diffused on. Okay, both of you said A. I think A sounds fine. Let's put Swann in A. Prestige-wise, you want the second one or the first one?
Second one, definitely
Second
not
one.
the first one. You want
Okay.
the top bars to do
Yeah.
the waves.
You want top bars to do the work. Alright, that sounds fair. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus. So I've seen a lot on random queue. A lot of random players with P2 Tychus, they will dip out if it's short-sighted, and especially short-sighted and diffusion. So yeah, I think most players are not going to be too happy about this set or using Tychus. I would say he's B to C. I still would recommend P2, but for this one, I think Sirius is a must for this mutation.
He's seriously good after all. What do you think, Zero?
I don't think Tychus is bad here, honestly. His actual I assume he's just got to be going P2 here, which is what I'd recommend. The Tychus grenade one-shots a lot of enemies, so you're going to be bypassing diffusion anyway. He also has a lot of effective HP, so that means he can just run close to the wave, drop his nade, and then medevac him out. Then you also have like Nux, which can just drop his ability, then run away. Yeah, he just won't really be getting diffused a lot if you use him right. For the shuttles, you have Sam, which he drops a charge on a shuttle, then he runs away, and then just one-shots it. So I think it's mostly about how you use your outlaws here. Like, yeah, like, I get what you're saying about the like random Tychus allies you find. Like, they're not very creative, but I think Tychus definitely has the tools for that, and they're very effective, I'd say.
So it's a
I'd say
skill
like
issue.
80, exactly.
It is definitely a skill issue. It's very different from how P2 would normally play. You got to be very cognizant about which way the attack waves are coming in from, which way the shuttles are coming in from.
Yes.
It's very careful positioning and kind of knowing where things are without being able to see them due to the short-sighted.
And just watch the
I
minimap so you
think
can
that-
actually tell where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
where do we land on? B?
I have him from B to C. I think Zero is probably gonna push him toward A, and I'm not
A?
opposed to that. It's just I would say this would be like a A star in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess you gotta change how you play. Like, you can't play the normal Tychus here, but he is very good.
Alright, A star it is. That sounds fair. Second prestige still?
Yeah.
Lone Wolf. Okay, we're still going Lone Wolf. Second prestige, but A star. Just put a star in there, Zeus. Let's move on. Vorazun. Where do we have him?
Oh god, yeah, she's gonna suffer against air.
He does.
Yes. So, you know how she already suffers against air. And yeah, now she's gonna be doing half damage. And that damage will also be getting diffused onto her fragile units.
Yeah.
Her Dark Templar as well. Their usual strength is their effective range through Shadow Fury. Yeah, now you're gonna have to get directly right next to the enemy. So all that damage is gonna be dealt to you instead of you just kiting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not gonna have a good time here.
No.
Yeah, I think she's C tier.
C tier. How about Eveling?
No, that's pretty generous. I thought you were gonna go much lower than that. I have Vorazun from B to C. So my hot take here is I would actually recommend P2 for this. So the thing is, for P2, you should see some of the videos that Kane have made about using P2's degen in combination with Fusion. It does pretty good, and the nice thing about the shuttles, like a lot of times they kind of clump up, and the other funny thing about using Dark Archon Confusion against shuttles, for a brief second, a lot of times when you use Confuse on them, the shuttles actually turn around and go backwards for like a split second.
Really?
So in some sense, kind of slows them down. It's kind of funny
Crazy.
to watch sometimes. But yeah, you can when you see the shuttles coming, cast your Confusion on them, walk away, let the diffusion and the Withering Siphon effect kind of bring down the HP. then once they get very low, then swoop in with your stairs to knock them out.
All right, so letter
B to C.
B to C. So both of you converge on C tier. Is that
Yes,
where we
so
land with
C is fine.
Vorazun? All right, I
Different ways of
tried.
getting there, but yeah, same destination.
I tried being smart here one time. I think this was how it worked before. I thought that mind controlled units retain their original vision range. They don't. I tried mind controlling like a couple observers, couple enemy units to give me regular vision. It didn't work. They still have diffused vision, so that won't work either. Just when I thought I found a use for Dark Archons and Mutation, but oh well. Let's move on.
I think that's I think what you're running into is what happens with the Alexander.
Yeah,
So when
Alexander, I know
Alexander-
that works. I know it works for Alexander, but
Yeah.
not Vorazun's mind control. So apparently, even the Alexander has better mind control than Vorazun. That's terrible. Oh my goodness. Let's move on.
It is.
Zagara. Where do we have him?
Zagara. So I know you already hinted toward Zagara being a very superior candidate. I'm going on hot take. I'm not giving it range. I'm saying Zag is S for this. Bio launchers are good.
You watched that, didn't you? Oh wait, yeah, Biologic's also good.
I didn't watch it.
Biologic's also good.
I just saw the title and I kind of figured out what you're heading for.
Wait, so you didn't watch? You didn't realize what I did?
I didn't watch it. I just saw the title and then I kind of knew
Oh my goodness.
what you're going for.
The guy on my videos doesn't even watch my videos. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I watched them, but I haven't watched it yet.
Sure. How about you?
Okay, if you put it that way, then I'm not going to watch it then. Jeez.
Sure.
Salty about.
Sure. How about you, Zero?
So she's not terrible here. Bio launchers are good for mineral shields, and for the waves, I guess they can put in some work. They're just a lot more exposed than like ESOs would be, which is why I don't think she's necessarily S tier. Like if you compare her to Banks, like I think what you're going for the actual objective is P2 Corruptors. Yeah, I actually watched some of that, so
There you go. Someone who does watch
I-
the videos. Finally.
yeah, I don't deny it's effective. It's just when compared to other S tiers, I just think it's slightly worse. Like
So note
ESOs
with
are
bio
basically
launchers,
better vials.
you're going to be able to win the mission without even having to leave your base.
Exactly. But like,
Yes.
Due to
if I'm gonna solo that as Zagara, I'll just put all my static defense up my ramps, like just defend at home, and then just run the corruptors out to snipe the shuttles, then fly back. That'll work.
yeah,
So-
yeah,
so the
you
thing
could do
about
that too.
bio
But
is- yeah.
the bio launchers will also
That's
prevent.
like he has
give you the win
options.
rate in-
He has options.
Yeah,
Like, is that not S
He
tier?
has options.
They're difficult to use though, at least properly.
I
Like,
know. I know. That's why I'm advocating for, if you're not a high level player, I think corruptors are the easier way, funnily enough, for Zagara.
Yeah.
They
If you
recommend
mask
P2 for
Raptors, you're
this.
gonna have very little supply to deal with the actual attack waves. So that's sort of on the issue.
That's
Also, with
true.
bio launchers, you can also just target them at the exits. These shuttles will converge onto it, and then the bio launchers just kind of kill them anyway. So I don't think even corruptors are that necessary.
Yes.
I'm all for P2 Zagara, so
I'm not. I
I-
like it. I like it a lot.
yeah.
Okay.
I
So
still think
yeah.
she's like A tier, just not necessarily S.
okay.
We just have so good commanders in S tier. I don't think she's quite on level with them.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not my fault that she's not S tier, I'm okay with it. Watch all the comments blame me anyway. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so A tier. Zagara lost an A tier because it's not unanimous,
So
right?
Yep.
It's not unanimous, therefore it's not S. So Zagara lost an A tier. Let's move on. Zeratul. Where do we have him?
oh, this guy found the light switch. Whole map is now visible. Yeah, so you know that hold on, how do I phrase this? Yeah,
You can
he
do
just
it.
gets
I
rid of
think you
the
phrased it well.
mutator pretty much. His observers give a decent amount of vision, even through short-sighted because of the third artifact fragment. So now you and your ally can just see the whole map without you having to consistently spend money on it, like Raynor would have to. Yeah, his units are also just they take good advantage of that extra range. Like stalkers will just outrange diffusion. You can go cannons to just brute force through it. Also, you have like immortals with long range or disruptors. So yeah, a lot of options. Zeratul himself with his spin will also just one shot a lot of things to bypass it. Yeah, I think he's S tier.
By the way, I need to know, how do you expand this Zeratul? Do you use the Zoria Legion?
Uh,
Or do you just Because like you have some options here. You can go like
Yeah,
a
the control
Bouchers,
thing, I don't
you can
think would really
go
work.
Zoria, you can go Cadence straight into your expansion. So what
I
what
guess, like,
is
I guess.
a Bouchers or Shield
Maybe
Guards?
you don't really need the expo even that much, so it's not a thing that will drop him down. But it's an interesting question.
Right?
I guess like shield and stalker. Maybe you
Shield Guard
can
and
use it for the
Boucher.
first wave also. Just that's
Okay,
that
so
arrives.
so
Zeratul arrives.
how do you fight the waves here?
Alright.
Because they have
So
a lot of
first
health,
wave,
and Zeratul on his own will get diffused on a lot.
well, he just blinks and spins. That's most of the wave gone. At least the early ones. Later on, you can demote them with Abathur, or you'll just have a bunch of artifacts, so you won't really care. Yeah. With your like monoliths, like you can also just deploy them. Like, I don't see the issue here with waves personally. It's like if it's air, you have immortals. If it's ground, you can just blink like through it with DTs, and that kind of ignores the damage. 'Cause
So
it's just blinking.
you do buy enforcers for air.
You can. I definitely think just Stalker Sentry will also work.
Yeah, I'm thinking the triple blink is his best option here.
Yeah.
Because like the cannons, when you project them, they will get splashed on a lot, and sometimes they don't even finish projecting before they get disappeared.
That's fair. If you're fighting like big enemies like battle cruisers, you can also just go for like the Dark Archon Legion, just yoink them.
But that'll make your expansion really tricky. So
Maybe.
you rush like an emboucher and a shield guard to destroy your expansion or to destroy the expansion rocks.
Yeah, I guess so. Like you don't need to rush the expansion here. He's perfectly fine staying one base for whole game. Not that you want to. It's just the money is not an issue, so it's fine having a slightly delayed expansion with him.
Okay,
I thought
so
Sir Dathlead is pretty tanky. I think they should. They can't break through the rocks.
the thing
They
is
already
the
have
thing is
DPS
the damage output won't be enough because it gets diffused. It's not that they will die from diffusion. It's just that they won't deal enough
okay.
damage because of diffusion.
So why did we just come to this? Isn't that like an issue for most commanders?
Yeah, but like I'm like wondering what his best option is because for commanders you have like that one option and you just have to make it work. Zeratul has many options. Actually, if you saw how I expand with Zagara, I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. If I should just wait for Zagara and use hunter killers. If you didn't see what I did, I just floated an overlord, then rushed out the lair, dropped creep, and used spine crawlers to expand. I'm not gonna use zerglings on my rocks with diffusion. That's just pain. But yes,
Enough aberrations could work for Zagara.
aberrations might also work, but like spine crawlers are cheaper.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah. For the other commanders, I didn't ask that because they have the one way that they expand, and it'll work well enough. Whereas Zeratul has several, and it is actually a consideration.
I
Anyway,
guess you can also
the
just wait
ambusher
for like Zeratul.
just
He has a
makes
lot of
sense.
shield regen. And yeah, ambushers.
Okay, so letter
S.
S tier. How about Eviling?
Yeah, in my opinion, S2 also. I mean, dealing with the waves, his spin to win, it's similar, kind of like you just point it in a direction, let it do its thing, and walk away. That way, Zeratul is not going to get any of the diffusion damage. Just know which way the enemy is coming and start sending tornadoes in that direction.
I'm gonna have to see
fact
some
that he-
replays here because when I soloed this Zeratul, it did not feel like an S tier commander. Like it works, but not S tier works. I'm gonna have to see some replays of
What
Zeratul
composition
soloing
should I
this.
do it against?
Any. I just need to see like
Alright.
what I'm doing wrong. Why it doesn't feel like an S tier to me.
Sure.
But anyway, both of
Play
you
one after this.
are okay with S tier, so again, it's not my call. So let's put Zeratul in S tier. Do we have a double S?
No, I don't think so. At least.
Nah.
Who's top of S tier?
Statman.
Stat boy?
Yeah. Hero. He could pretty much almost hero solo this.
Yeah, the stud lights alone
So
just provide vision
super
where you need
tanky.
it. Yes. All right, second in S.
Alarak.
Yeah, he has the damage. It almost once you get the ascendants out and get them a couple stacks, it's almost playing like normal in some sense.
Not Dehaka?
I
I think Dehaka.
No.
Dehaka is more encumbered early on. Alarak once he comes out, it's almost like just wave your arms
Doesn't have the
in the
vulture
direction that the
issue.
enemies.
Okay, if you say so. So who's third?
Honestly, Karax? Maybe Dehaka. I think one of them.
Let me know.
I'd say Karax.
Alright.
Can deal with the vulture issue. No problem.
All right, and then
I'd say Dehaka then.
all right, who's next?
Let's say Zeratul and then Arcturus last.
Zeratul
Yeah,
and
sure.
Arcturus.
The first wave can kind of mess up next.
All right, who's top of A?
See, Swann.
Zagara.
Zagara?
Swann or Zagara. Yeah, that or Swann. They're both good here. See, the thing about Swann, he just nukes the waves. So Zagara actually has to fight them with bio launchers and keep microing them. So I think Swann is still better, personally.
Okay. And then second in A.
Zagara, I'd say.
There we go. Next.
Raynor?
All right.
Tychus?
No, Tychus at A star. That means he's barely an A.
He's A star because you have to play him differently, not because he's bad.
No one's bad. It's A
Right?
tier. Like the star means like yeah, you have to play him differently. I mean, I mean it's not straightforward. But like the other guys in A might be. But if both of you agree, then like it's not my call.
I would say Nova before Tychus.
Nova.
Really?
Yeah, Nova is a little more straightforward in my opinion.
I guess you can just defensive throw into the diffusion away.
I guess so.
Yep.
I think killing the actual objective is a bit harder.
You grab yourself spam and snipe.
Yeah, but Sam just fucking just throws charges, no? Well, Nova has to get ravens, throw missiles,
Griffin
then
airstrike
run away, then
deals with
snipe, right?
Yeah, you have a lot of minerals flying around. You can always just like put a couple turrets at the end to finish them off with whatever's left. And I think the snipe is still pretty effective with shuttles, right?
it is.
I guess so. It's just not effective as a pro one ability, shuttle dead.
So let me know.
Yeah, that's
Who do you think's better? We're deciding between Nova and Tychus,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Tychus can deal with with using SAM demo bombs, be
Yes.
able to deal with the shuttles much easier.
Yes.
Nova can clear the area much easier.
I guess, yeah.
We call it a
she's-
tie. Like we've done it before.
Yeah, sure.
We can call it a
Yeah,
tie.
it can be high.
All right.
That's fair.
So Nova and Tychus are tied. With Tychus having a star. So who's next?
I'd say this order is correct.
This
The
order is
next
correct?
Commanders.
Yeah. All right. Who's top of B tier?
Cannon Horner,
Okay.
Mhm.
And then
Artanis.
Phoenix. All right, then it's Vorazun in C tier. I'm pretty happy that despite Vorazun being where she is, I still did relatively well with her. I'm pretty happy about that. And like the other,
I did see that video. That was painful to watch, actually.
I tried entertaining myself through the pain. I hope my own pain didn't come through so much. But like I knew that I need to do these two commanders because like this one's not a terribly difficult mutation, but it is painful. So like I need to get the two worst ones to kind of show a bad commander's run. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea of what else you can do, please leave it in a comment. I'll see you guys next time.